Some say that he's recently been releasing pop records under the pseudonym of Lady Gaga. All we know is he's called The Sting.
Where did that bring us to?
Well, it got us to how I think you made the show relatable, and that because by not going so overly technical, you didn't alienate half the audience that was just going to walk out. Because it's a family show, because actually it's a car show that isn't focused around cars, piston heads and things. And I think that's what.
Yeah, I think we all knew that. We all knew that, and we didn't get it. I have said this before, and it is a truth, that we were not smart enough. I'm talking about me, Jeremy, Richard, James, the production team. You know, Rowley, Jim, Grant, Alex, and all that. We weren't smart enough to invent it, work it out, and present it like I say, like people who do. They come up with the X Factor or The Apprentice and stuff like that. We weren't that clever. All we wanted to do in 2002 was make Top Gear a more watchable show and bring it up to date from the old Top Gear. So the idea of a studio and guests and a lap and a place, it happens in a place. Jane Root, who ran BBC Two, she's like, that's all I want. You know, you've now modernised it. But we didn't have any plans for world domination or making these films huge. Because if you think about it, the first 3 or 4 series, they didn't do films together. And then...
I like those films.
What, the single film?
Yes. I really enjoyed that.
Do you?
I did.
Yeah, but the first ones were just car tests.
Well, but they go off, and what I think is each presenter was brilliant at describing that world from their perspective, and they would go into it, and you went on a journey with them, and then they come back and they take the piss out of each other.
Right.
But actually, those one-man films I thought were brilliant. Really enjoyed them. Those were my favourites.
Are you talking about early one-man films, or the ones where later on we start mucking around more, even within a one-man film?
I like the earlier stuff where they were more descriptive of their environment before they started.
Do you watch VHS tapes at home?
I've got some VHS. I've got a lot of Top Gear on VHS.
Your telly got a massive back.
Well, okay, right. Well, which were you've done obviously all of them. They're all brilliant.
Kettle whistle.
What's your favourite? What was your favourite epoch of Top Gear? Come on.
Have you got a mangle for your washing? I think. So it's after Richard's accident and he's back.
Yeah.
And we were still coming up with newish ththings like the races and all that, and then the guests were getting big, finally. That was my sweet spot.
Because famously you said once that, I think this is a quote, if we had any balls, we'd have killed it in 2008.
Did I say that?
Something like that.
Probably true.
You said, I think maybe it was like that, which marries up with what you're saying was your peak era.
Yeah. And then you find you get another series and it works. I think, but I'm back to that point, which is we were never smart enough to kind of conceive this thing and have a defined plan. What happened was things would happen, and then you go, oh, fuck me, that worked. And then you do another one or something. So, good example was the invention of you. You know, like Jeremy's going, oh, hang on, we've got a problem here with the number of presenters. Why does he need to speak? But we didn't sit down pre-Top Gear and go, let's make a robot racing driver that's anonymous. We went to Alabama, Florida to film that Fly Drive film, and that was going to be a 25-minute film. We come back with too much material, and I go, well, let's make the whole show out of it.
A special.
Specials are born. It's a happy accident.
Florida was hilarious. I remember seeing a lot of that because that came off the Nokia phone, some of the footage. There was genuine fear. And I was told Jeremy was so far down the motorway, and he thought he was being chased, didn't he?
He was being chased. Him and James were being chased by rednecks in pickups. And this wasn't on camera, but we had these crew vehicles which were like from Avis or whatever, and they were same colour, same sort of everything, indeterminate. I was driving a crew vehicle, as I always do.
Brilliantly.
And I had a cameraman. Ian May was my cameraman. So Ian kind of filmed for as long as he could the aggro and the shit going on at the petrol station.
Well, he loves a bit of that, doesn't he?
And that, you know, and then more rednecks are arriving. So he like, and then it was like, we've got to get out of this. So I jumped into my crew car and drove off, and everyone's like exiting the station. And then he jumped in, and I'm with him. He jumps into the crew car and goes, go, 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 like slams the door. And there's an empty driving seat because I've got in another one and driven off and not knowing which one was which. So he's got no driver and more rednecks boiling up. So he's like, fucking, I've got to get up, go round, get in the thing. So Jesus was he angry with me later. But
that's not exactly the sort of we were soldiers, like first boot on the ground, last to leave, Wilman, car gone.
I was, but I wasn't first to leave. I was like...
Second?
No.
Third?
I'd say three from last.
Okay.
And there's a big crew. So a lot of
some of them are still there.
And then this police ranger geezer sort of put his sirens on and found us like 5-6 miles away. And we were like cleaning the cars. And he was a really nice guy. And he was like, he could see the slogans and the rednecks all fucked off in these pickups. And he was like, what are you doing? And we were like, oh, well, it's really funny. We thought we'd like, when you're explaining something that's gone wrong and it isn't funny at all anymore, and your sort of sentences die out. And he's like, okay, you were trying to wind up people. And he went, look out there. And he like pointed at the hills, and it really was the hills have eyes. And he was like, if you're taken into there, I cannot protect you. This badge, this uniform means nothing. Yeah. I cannot protect you. Now get out of the fucking state. So
we had a briefing like that in Statesboro, which I think is in.
Where's Statesboro?
I think it's. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. It's Georgia or South Carolina. Anyway, one of the two. We were using a long strip there for the Ford versus Ferrari film. We were doubling for the Mulsanne Straight in these replica cars.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Sheriff came out. We did our safety briefing and all that, and the sheriff came up and said his piece, and he said, so if y'all break down, stay by your car, don't go wandering into anyone's garden, because y'all are probably going to get shot. And we're like, okay, I'll stay with the car.
I'll stay with the car, yeah.
That makes sense.
And nobody's going to convict that person.
No, probably not. Well, they're not going to find you for a start. They're going to be
That's true. There's going to be another little hump.
Thrown out the back with another.
Lots of healthy flowers growing out of the hump, yeah.
Out of that. All right, so Florida, but then...
So we've made those things by accident, and then they were great. And then we keep going like that. And then other accidental things that we hadn't really planned, like going out on a Sunday night, turned out to be an amazing thing. Because we knew we wanted our show to be fun. We wanted it to be a bit TFI, which is a Friday night show, as we know. We wanted a bit of that atmosphere in it. And we hadn't thought about it again, but you realise that at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, you're going out against like, Call the Midwife type shows, Touch of Frost. And it's all gloomy dramas. And it's school the next day or it's work the next day and everyone's a bit, ugh. Yeah. And Sunday night TV leans at that point into the fact that weekend's over. And then what we realised we were doing was making the weekend last for another hour. And 8 o'clock to 9 was brilliant because kids started to watch it. And then it's like parents would go, right, it's Top Gear, then bed.
Yeah.
And then dads and kids are watching it. And then the next thing that happens, mums might want to watch A Touch of Frost. I'm generalising with the sexes again here, so forgive me. But what they want more than anything is to watch their whole brood watching a family show. So mums go, right, fuck it, I'll watch this show too, and then find they like it. Because James, Jeremy and Richard are quite appealing to the opposite sex in terms, not in looks or waistlines or anything like that, but in terms of their kind of charm. They're not thick. They look thick, but they're not thick. Mm-hmm. And they used to get voted in these polls like Grazia, Weird Crush, or Heat magazine. Sorry, it was Heat magazine.
Did you break into that as well?
Well, hack in and vote for them.
Into the Heat roster.
No, I didn't get in. No. But they would go like, they get winner of guys we'd most like a night out with. So it's not shag, not marry, not anything like that, but a night out with, because I think girls thought, we'll have a fun night out and they'll all take the piss out of each other and we'll enjoy that, but I'll get delivered safely home.
Yeah.
And they had that niche. And then I think girls also like funny men being thick in a kind of intelligent way, like the guys on Friends.
Yeah.
And they had a little bit of that Friends chemistry where they've got all male flaws are there for you to see, but it's quite palatable and charming to watch. And then also, I'm doing a disservice to the opposite sex here. A lot of girls do like cars, we know that. They really do. And with our locations and the shooting and the fun of it all, it suddenly becomes a very entertaining package.
Plus, I think a lot of the energy that was off camera, because they're actually quite mean to each other off camera.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
Did sort of bubble up, and
it did. It did.
Certainly, and I think I felt quite lucky, privileged to know what was going on. So some of one of my favourites was the North Pole, which had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
But all the stories that came flooding back from the camera teams. So by the time I watched it on Sunday, I was in stitches, knowing what had gone on, because having attempted to teach Jeremy something in the past in a car twice, I've tried it.
You can't do it.
Unteachable.
Why is he unteachable? I'm amazed at that.
Because he knows already, doesn't he? But he loves. This is it. He doesn't want to hear from. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but he respects your skill. He just doesn't want to be taught.
Exactly, or be seen to be listening. I think is possibly what it is as well.
He would always want to download from you about a car.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't want to be taught anything by you.
No. I was trying to explain to him, because he's all the drifting stuff. And some cars, he just, I can't fucking drift this car. I just said, you're going in too quick. And I put my hand on the front tyres and they're boiling hot. So that you're just understeering off, the front end sliding, Andy.
Even I would understand that.
Snap back understeer, that one.
No, really, seriously, I would understand what you're saying there.
Yeah. No, piss off. You don't know what you're talking about, and off you go. And
then, professional racing driver.
And you'd say, go up to Silverstone
versus print journalist from Doncaster.
We're doing the GP track. Go and teach the presenter something. Jeremy's there, and firstly the others arrived, so I had a map out. I thought I'll just show them the track.
Yeah.
So I got my pointer out. Jeremy just snatched that out of my hand. Right, this is what I do, and all that sort of stuff. But I did take Jeremy out, and I said, right, so this is such and such gear, and he's like, no, I use fourth. And I said, right. I said, but you want to get an exit out of this one, so you want to hold to the left, turn in a bit late. And he's like, no, I go in this way. Brr. So it's just a total argument. And then he started talking about Steve Soper, and I did look this up. So he'd done a time trial with Steve Soper at Silverstone.
Steve Soper was touring cars, wasn't he?
Yeah. So
front-wheel drive guy.
Auto Express days, I think.
Right.
They'd invited a load of journos up to Silverstone.
And Jeremy was the fastest of everybody.
Jeremy went fastest, and he beat Soper's time. Soper was having a stroke at this point, trying to understand how Clarkson, who didn't look the epitome of health,
not
a racing
performance
driver,
car or whatever,
had put 2 seconds on the touring car champion.
I'm fucking baffled about that.
Well, he cut the corner. He cheated. He shaved out a part of the track, and they'd never told Soper the truth.
I don't think Ben Collins is going to get Jeremy on his podcast anytime
Oh, Jeremy's
soon.
might come on later. I think it's brilliant, but I think it's great that he wound him
What
up.
about the time you cut the corner and weren't as fast as a touring car driver?
But he's hilarious, and some things do go in. You know, he's half listening, but I knew that he's a challenging man, isn't he? He's full tilt the whole time.
No, you're right. What is on camera is off camera. His bombast, his like, I don't need that information because I don't want it right now, is part of his makeup.
Yeah.
It's like, he's highly intelligent, but his brain is like a 9-year-old's in that I don't want that information, so I'm not going to bother with it.
And he's busy a lot of the time. When you on the shoot days, I fully appreciate it. The studio day, you had so much going on. You had bits going on the track. You were looking at the scripts. You were bringing.
I could not do what he does on those studio days. He's seriously working, and I think there's a kind of misconception because basically we're spending hours trying to get cocking around right, but a lot of work goes into cocking around that's going to land. And he was like obsessive about the detail of doing it to make the studio look ramshackle. You've got to really be disciplined, etc., which he was phenomenal at.
I don't think you can overstate actually the amount of work. Whenever
that he does.
You and him, he'd always be either doing something or he'd be on the computer writing the next thing. Or
it was a very hard-working show. The work that went into that show, I mean, it was our undoing. One of our undoings at the end was we were coming apart as human beings.
But he's still bonkers, and that's why I enjoyed the Polar Special, North Pole, because I remember they got round the sinkhole, they cut a hole in the ice.
Yeah.
Firstly, you'd done all this training, because the camera team saying we were doing these things with tents.
Polar bear shooting.
And you had the SBS guy trying to show you survival skills, how to survive.
Yeah.
Apparently, Jeremy took over the shotgun lesson. So I'm told. And at that point, his car was marked in the mind of this soldier. And he then
Yeah,
held
because
this
the guy
grudge.
said, he kind of built a mound of snow and he went, right, that's the polar bear, right? And he goes, so you got 5 shots in your shotgun, and he went, you fire one, I mean, obviously it's logical, you don't want to kill a polar bear, because you go 1 over its head, 1 to the left, 1 to the right, 1 on the ground, you got 4, right? And then if it's still coming out, you use the last one to blow its brains out, and you're like, all of us were thinking it, but Jeremy was like, what the fuck? So you just like, you waste 4 bullets and this is polar bear. So it's like, we were all dutifully, we're like left, right, up in the air on the ground, bang, and it's a piece of snow, so you're gonna hit it. And then Jeremy got it, I think he just offloaded about 5 bullets into its face, and he was like, I think that's a better way of doing it. And like, SBS man's like,
yeah. But they've got long memories. So then when
polar bears?
The soldier.
SBS. Right.
Because he got him on the ice, and then it's like, right, get into the freezing water.
Oh yeah, we had to do that.
It's brilliant. And they're all lined up, and they start doing their, chat, I'm not good. And the SBS guy just quietly walks around the back with his face blurred out, and just pushes Jeremy in. I've never laughed so hard.
Because Jeremy was still talking, wasn't he? Yeah.
He totally didn't expect it. His body was all limp. He had no idea it was coming. And not only that, then he got him out and he's yelling at him on the ground to roll in the snow. It's absolutely hilarious.
It was. We had to do that as off-camera crew.
Did you get in?
I was, yeah, but we jumped in voluntarily, because we knew it was like coming. Whereas Jeremy had, he was still blathering. I think this guy had enough, as you say. So enjoy himself kicking him in. But fuck me, was that cold. It was like an iron bar went, because you try and keep your mouth shut and you can't, it's impossible with the cold. So you open your mouth and there's like iron bar of cold water goes down you. It's mind blowing. And then yes, you do feel alive in a Wim Hof way. But yeah, I think your point was off camera and on camera, there's not much difference. And there wasn't. I remember Richard coming in series 1, and we're filming the studio on a Wednesday, and he's all, what Richard's like? He's like, of all of them, you want him in the trenches if there's trouble, because he's tough. He's little and all that, we know that, but he's really tough. He will not give up. He won't. He's like the Monty Python knight. He'll just keep coming. And he came in Tuesday for script reading for this Wednesday studio record. Black eye. And we're like, what's that? And he went, I got a fight in the pub, into a fight. We're like, who with? And he went, Bino. It was his mate, right? We said, well, what were you arguing about? Well, we got a bit pissed and we were arguing about what the best Subaru is.
Fair.
And we're like, yeah, all good. Have a fight about Subarus, get a black eye for your mate. However, we're recording the studio show and you've got a black eye. So makeup woman earns overtime making this thing right. But yeah, my point is, he doesn't stop and go, right, I'm on TV now, so I won't get into a fight about Subarus and be rolling around the pavement outside a country pub because I'm now on TV. He still does that, or did that, and that was, yeah, you knew that what you saw was what you got there. And we all know James going for a shit before the convoy sets off. It takes forever. He'll choose the moment when the whole crew is lined up, ready to leave whatever hotel you're in. Oh, wait a moment. And then in he goes for a number 2. They are it. They are what they are.
Speaking of crew, what's the closest you got to crew mutiny? If you're aware that you ever did. They were very, that's a strange question, because actually
you might know better.
They
than
would
me.
go to the ends of the earth, on a pack of crisps and half a bottle of Diet Coke.
Yeah.
But it was long hours, and there's a couple of silly moments I can recall that were close to say, right, we're not rolling cameras. The one I was witness to was
you'd be educating me now.
When the sausage butty was taken away. There was a production cut at Dunsfold. The bacon butties weren't there. Sausage roll, no sausage roll. The boys were like,
so there was bacon, but there wasn't sausage.
There was neither.
Well, it wasn't me.
The boys were like, there's no sausage roll, there's no cameras.
Who was that production manager we had for the benefit of the viewers, production managers handle the money.
Those roles came out PDQ
I think it was
after that.
Christ, what was his name? He used to get
It seems
a
strange.
4-finger Kit Kat.
Yeah, and divide them
And I
up.
caught him, like he was going through the box, and he was cutting them in half.
Yeah.
So turning them into 2-finger Kit Kats. I'm like, can we not have a Kit Kat? And he's like, I'll save a lot of money with this. And he would have taken the sausage and bacon away.
It seemed rich when we were doing our own NASA flight thing with the shuttle. You know, that it was a money.
Or building an airship with a caravan underneath. Nobody can have a bacon sandwich.
Can't have a bacon sandwich. But it was incredible.
Mutiny. I mean, obviously Argentina was a really fractious moment when we really knew we were in trouble, because that was the one moment when the crew were looking at me going, did you really do that number plate, genuinely? Because we're about to get our fucking heads kicked in and our lives are going to be in danger, we know that, all for a silly joke you did. And I was like, we did not do that number plate.
Come on.
To this fucking day, until the day I die.
Come on.
On my children. On my children.
It's hard to believe, because being wordsmiths, both of you,
Yeah.
Jezza, that your eyes, you pick up on things all the time, that you didn't pick up on the plate and think, oh, that's an interesting coincidence.
Okay, let me tell you, because the cars get bought by the office, you know that. So when they go, I've bought this, that's actually on telly, that's bollocks. There's a production team. Researchers look for cars, find it, and then say, we've had it checked out, they'll send Richard, Jeremy James, 3 options, and they'll go, I'll have that one. So in that way they can go, and they choose the car they want in the first place. But Jeremy wanted a right-hand drive 928 manual. That's what he wanted for that journey. So they're rare, hen's teeth as cars. The car gets bought, who's looking at number plates? I certainly never look at a number plate. And they don't actually see the cars until they get to South America. When you get to South America, they see the cars in the flesh for the first time. And you've got cameramen all over, mini cams putting cameras in. There's people all around them. They sit in for a seat fitting. They go drive it around the block to go, oh, fucking hell, that's got this problem and that problem. I like it. But what you don't do is look at number plates.
Yeah.
You don't.
Except the spares that you put in that spelt Bell End.
Well, yeah, that's because we make up a number plate for that occasion. Right. So the other way to look at this is go, okay, right, let's pretend we're guilty. This is what, unpack it the other way around. Okay, so let's pretend we're guilty. So instead of going, right, we're going to drive the length of Argentina with 3 sports cars, we're going to build the whole film around a shit joke about a number plate. Now, we all know the number plate was genuine because that's the first thing the Daily Mail checked out with DVLA. It wasn't a made-up plate. It belonged to that car.
Yeah.
It was real. So what we've got to do at that point then is go, okay, we need to look for a silly number plate with a combination of letters and numbers. So how do you do that? Oh, first job, you ring the DVLA and go, have you got a number plate with silly combination? We don't care what the car is now because we're just doing a silly number plate joke because as we know, the number plate's real. The DVLA immediately will go, fuck off, because we can't give out information like that and we're not here to search for that. So, okay, let's say I bribe someone at the DVLA and then they go, okay, these cars have got the number plate combinations you might like. Where do those people live? I can't tell you that because it's data protection. Here's another £1,000. Okay, somebody lives here. Oh, it's a Fiesta diesel. So now we've got to build a whole film, a special around a Fiesta diesel because it's got the number plate we need.
Yep.
You know us. Are we likely to do that?
No.
No. Then, so I go and find the person who's got it. Then I've got to go around to his house and buy it from him. It's bullshit. And there were, I think, 8 928 manuals imported in right-hand drive into the UK. It was a tiny number.
That were manual.
So let's say we're doing this thing. We've got like a shit number plate, a funny number plate. Oh my God, what a coincidence. A very desirable sports car for a special happens to have the number plate we like. Then I've still got to go and buy it off the guy, etc., etc. It was total horseshit.
I have asked quite a few people, and I've asked the ones at production who sourced the car too. So I have come out of this believing you. But I suppose the hard part was, as a viewer, the cap fits so well to other controversial stuff.
My God, the cap fits so well. But at that point, we're putting the crew in danger.
Yeah.
Now, we're not going to do that. And that's, like I say, that night, they were like, did you fucking do this? Did you fucking... And I was like, on my life, we didn't do this. And then they believed me, and then we, like, bonded to get out of the shit we were in. But that was, to your point about mutiny. I mean, nobody can mutiny because it can't fuck off. But it was a time when the crew were, like, really like, you've crossed the line here. And we hadn't crossed the line. Because we hadn't done it. So we just had to get through it together.
There were a few scrapes.
So that's Argentina or sausages.
Yeah.
We've run the gamut there of like mutinies.
You did.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but there was a farcical moment of, as the show got bigger, and tensor barriers started to appear. I thought it was brilliant, because James always used to come out and he'd do the teas, which I thought was brilliant. The guests would come, big crowd, he'd go do tea and biscuits. Then the tensor barriers went up. There's a bit of sort of security, some big people turned up with black tight-fitting T-shirts, and then and actually when we went to Mallorca, there was three of us doing
the rally.
Yeah, and we were told. So there's me and
two other... I never went on those big ones like that, but was it getting a bit fan crazy?
Not really, but there was a fear that there would be. And so the drivers, I was allocated on security watch for Hammond, which probably wasn't a bad idea. But each presenter had a security man, but we weren't obviously professionals. We were just driving A camera, B camera, C camera.
And then
with
you
the
stood
Range
next to
Rovers,
them.
and then stand next to them and what we were supposed to do.
Making it up as we go along, weren't we?
But Jeremy's phone fell asleep because Jezza went for a slash in the Portaloo.
Yeah.
And got locked in.
Jezza got locked in the Portaloo.
Locked in a Portaloo.
So his high-level security guy
was a fail.
Was having a snooze.
He was having a.
I don't know. He got locked in a Portaloo.
He did, bless him. Well, it wasn't good. It wasn't.
Well, he wouldn't be happy about that.
No, nobody would be happy about that. No. Well, because there's a danger. Obviously, they're going to tip it over, and you get covered in the blue stuff when the brown stuff's there.
And we're filming.
Not good.
Yeah. So was that some like, oh, let's have a laugh and lock him in? Fans?
Yes, there was a bit of that, but it was a funny shoot because there was you had the guy that didn't speak English, the dwarf, and the glamour model.
Yeah.
And it was a strange night out.
We weren't going to win any, and the most politically correct film award goes to.
No, but it was funny.
It was funny.
So the lowest moment you had probably was the Argentina film.
Oh, 100%, because it was so, you can't really conceive how isolated that was. You know, it's a classic hot fuzz phone signal, do, gone. And the police car leading us through the convoy got stoned and its window smashed. So Law...
They know how to riot down there.
Law didn't have any...
Yeah.
And it was like being on the... What are them islands at the top of Scotland and a bit more?
Shetlands.
Something like that. I'm not saying there's violence up there, but you were that remote.
That they could do, yeah.
You were that remote. And if the police were getting smashed up, and then the next town was Rio Grande. The village where we got stoned was like one high street. And if you could drive through it, which we all managed to, you got out the other side. But Rio Grande was a proper town. And they were like, the police there told the police with us, we lent them like a phone, sat phone or something, and they got hold of somebody. There's 500 cars waiting for you. That would have been, somebody would have died because there was no way you could control that mob. Mm. And you can hear it on YouTube. There's the people waiting to stone us in that village. You can hear, we got them translated, and you can hear someone say to someone else, what have they done, right? And then somebody went, they've got a number plate that says, fuck Argentina. So Chinese whispers by then have got crazy. That we're driving through Argentina with a number plate saying, fuck Argentina. So this guy's like going, right, fuck it, they're gonna have it. It was just nonsense at that point. So there we go.
Scary. I think this would be a good time. I've got some questions that there's a Top Gear WhatsApp group. Did you know that?
No.
For the crew,
I don't know why I'm not in it.
Well, the big four aren't on it, but
why are we
for
not
good
on
reason.
it?
Because then we can talk about you and make jokes. So this is the computer. I can't read it, what it says, but I've got some more.
So I don't know these questions.
No.
Let's be clear.
All right.
They're not going to be bright if they're from Top Gear
All right.
crew.
Right, we'll start with this one. Which historical figure, some of the questions and some are comments. Which historical figure / dictator do you think you most closely resemble?
Oh, hey, that's a good one. I do try and inspire, and I've got a big ego. David Brent. I know he's not that hysterical.
He's a superhero, though, isn't he? You've got two sides to him. You've got Brent and you've got,
David Brent, I would like to be I think I'm closest to, because I
Musical.
get the point that... No, but that Ricky Gervais character, he's a total twat, we all know. And he's very, I'm not as selfish as him, but one of the things he's understood is that we're in this weird world where everybody's got to spend the best hours of their lives in an office. So he tries to make it a bit theatrical. He tries to make the office somewhere fun. And then he's decided he's the performer who's going to do it. And he's completely unself-aware. But I've got some of that trait.
Yeah.
That I like. If I go into the office, I will show off like a child whilst I'm going about my business, because I want the office to be energetic and theatrical.
Such as taking over phone calls from people who are halfway into booking a shoot, finishing the call, slamming the phone down and saying,
or Alex
that's how
Renton's
it's done.
head. I play that he's bald. Alex Renton's he ran Top Gear of recent.
He's bald probably because of you.
Well, I used to play the drums on his head when I came in, and it was like, people would go, why have you done that? That's a real David Brent thing to do a drum solo on a bald man's head.
Yeah.
But I thought, this is
He wears
funny.
a cap now.
Yeah, and has brain damage. So David Brent, definitely. A bit of Winston Churchill in that I can rally people. I can go, come on, this is going to be good.
Never big on speeches, though, Andy. There weren't many big speeches.
No, I didn't do it. But you sort of, you try and energise and go, we're all right, we're all good, we're all in it together. I felt I could do that.
You did. And you'd be there in the thick of it, 3 a.m, you'd be there doing it.
Yeah, I could do that. I could be there 3 a.m. I was chaotic, and I think most dictators are probably a bit more organised.
You can say that again. So I remember first meeting you with this at Dunsfold, with this huge bursting set of files. Shirt,
with all the things you'd done?
This is you. No, this is before you hired me.
Right.
Shirt out, no belt. Have you got a belt now? Because you've done well now. He's bought a belt, 20 years on. He's
no builder's arse anymore.
Got that in there. Do you still write your plan of actions on your hand?
Still write on my hands.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think I'm ADHD.
Yeah.
My trainer, Steph, is ADHD. And I do things where she goes...
Trainer? What?
The gym trainer.
Sorry?
No fucking jokes.
That's one of the questions.
All right.
You've not been to a gym.
I have. Is that one of the questions in there?
That was a question I was going to ask. I thought it was impertinent,
Right.
but I mean...
Okay, trainer Steph, when I see her at the gym, is like ADHD, and she watches some things I do, and she's like, I think you are.
Okay.
So we took the ADHD test, and I passed on the phone. I passed with flying colours. I was like 65% ADHD or something. And I think because I'm kind of like, I will hyper-focus, and then everything else goes to one side, and then everything is chaos. So if you're hyper-focusing, I want to record information, I don't get a book. I just write all over my hand in a kind of memento type way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in, if I'm busy, if Grant says you're the best driver and you start telling me your CV, I'm like, okay, fine, you're hired. I believe you.
But that isn't the CV process either. So you're right, in sort of David Brent style. So I'd heard a few rumours, but we've narrowed it down thanks to the WhatsApp hive mind. So you would get if there was a stack of CVs to be reviewed, you would avoid it, until apparently you'd be pinned to the floor. And I'm told that your novel solution was to throw them down a set of stairs.
Throw half of them away.
Throw half away, throw them down the steps, and the ones that faced up. It's like, and it was like, why are you looking at those? Because they're the lucky ones. I don't want unlucky. I don't want the unlucky ones.
I think I used to throw half of them away and go, I don't employ unlucky people.
That's it.
So it's like
basically the same.
It's the same thing, yeah. And then there was one time, because when you did interviews, the BBC would always send an HR person, and they sit and they go, right, so they'll go, you ask the like peculiar or particular questions to Top Gear, and we'll ask the sort of standard questions. And you remember that office with so much on, so much to do. It was the show's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the films are getting more ambitious, and you're like, I can't delegate, and we're drowning. So I'm running around, and I walked in, there was somebody there for an interview, and HR person was sitting there, and this bloke sitting there with his like fucking hair jacket, and he's got like his CV, and I went, do your arms and legs work? And he went, and I was like, show me your arms. And he went, I was like, okay, you're hired, and then walked out, right? And then the HR person came out and they were like, you can't do that. I was like, oh, what do you want to fucking do? I've got film to edit, blah, blah, blah. But I also, having said that, I'm not thick in that I think the interview process in life is bollocks. Because everyone puts their best foot forward. People have watched a show, they know kind of what do you think you can bring to the show? Why do you like Top Gear? Your CV's got stuff on it. So I think saying do your arms and legs work is quite a good...
Walk and chew gum at the same time. It's useful. So I remember with you, I remember I sent, I finally whittled my way down to actually find out where you were, wrote an email to you, which you ignored, and then managed to get some footage across. So someone said he wants to see some footage, so I sent the footage in.
I would not have said that.
Anyway, I sent the footage.
Right.
But then I got the next follow-up, which was, he doesn't want just that, he wants the rushes. So I had to then phone these, but I said, what? I don't understand what rushes are.
That's smart.
What are rushes?
Yeah.
And they said, well, that's the unedited footage. He wants to see how many times you screw up trying to get a take.
To make your
this guy's quite exacting. Who is he? So this guy, Andy Wildman, don't know what his name is. And sent the stuff in, and then I got to meet you at the track. We did a little do-si-do in the Ford Focus. You took me round, very, very serious, showed me these white lines, and then you...
I can't even remember that.
...produced your stopwatch, and just like, go. And you...
Did the stopwatch...
You looked very nonplussed by the whole thing, and you got cheers.
All right, from my point of view, I don't know... Saying, can I see the rushes makes sense, because you could have made a... Directors do that.
Because you're high performance, you want the detail.
But I wouldn't have known what I was looking for because I don't know anything about driving.
But
so I don't know what I was looking for.
Car sliding looking nice.
Yeah, but Grant, one of our series producers, I think he was much more in charge. I would take his advice.
Yeah.
Like he championed...
This was pre-Grant. This is Jim, Alex and Rowley.
Well, maybe Jim championed. Somebody championed you. I think it was Jim.
Probably Jim.
Yeah, and Jackie Stewart gave you a good review. So I was like, well, what can I say?
Yeah, and his CV landed face up.
Then we got a stopwatch out, I remember that now, and you drove round and did a good time. And did we have a time, did we like have a car that Old Stig had driven?
Yeah.
You beat his time. Okay.
That was it.
Right.
But
I was itching to go.
An interesting process.
I was literally fucking itching to go. I remember that now.
Yeah. But
like,
sometimes you did get excited about the car. I don't know why. Occasionally, it would actually be, oh God, here he comes. We'd be doing our power test stuff, or the lap time, with the car on the studio day. Normally, you'd be too busy. Be like,
I like watching that.
We had our own little time.
I like watching the lap times.
Very occasionally, the Emperor would come out.
Yeah.
Oh God. And you take over the watch and you go, right, this is an important one. Come on. And there was one of them was like, hey, this is not going fast enough. I said, what do you mean? So this Ferrari, it's not as fast as whatever it was a 360. It was it was a 430, I think.
Okay.
And you were like, this is not fast enough. Why aren't you going fast? I'm like, I'm maxed out. It's a bit windy, but it's just quite as quick as I can go. And you were very adamant, wasn't going quick enough. But it was on the wrong tyre, on the Bridgestones. It wasn't on the Bridgestones, and it was losing time.
People are switching off now.
You were very, very upset about it, and you put a lot of pressure on Andy.
Fast enough, yeah.
Yeah. And then you went back into your porter cabin and got back to work. after I clipped the barrier.
That anecdote's the worst anecdote because it's like basically got no ending, has it? Like,
Well,
did the car go faster? No, it was on the wrong tyres.
You brought it on the wrong tyres, but this is it. You're not that into.
Well,
tyres.
I used to like watching the celebs go around
Don't give
because
me
it
details.
brought out their character.
Yeah.
And you were a very good teacher too. You were a very good teacher. And it brought out some of their like Ronnie Wood. He was another man on two wheels, and you think, oh fuck me, Rolling Stones, they're kind of wrapped in cotton wool. But actually, you think, no, to get to be a Rolling Stone, he's taken risks in life, and he's lived a tough life to get there before it becomes private jets and so on. So I always found that there was a bravery about the celebs, and you can think, yes, because they made a choice in life, like to go into a profession where 98% of people don't make it. So somewhere in there,
they've got to be brave.
There's got to be courage, yeah.
And the sportsmen are self-taught, which I think is why they were generally at the top of the list. So you got like Ronnie
Usain
O'Sullivan.
Bolt, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because they could learn very quickly. They're self-taught.
Dallaglio.
Yep.
And then weird ones
McCarthy.
like Kevin McLeod. Why was he so fast?
Yeah. And
Alfa Romeo fan, Jeremy would say that's why.
Yeah.
That you like driving if you like Alfa Romeos.
And French and Saunders.
So Jennifer Saunders was
Jennifer
really
Saunders.
quick.
Yeah.
Uh,
She went fastest. And you would never have
did.
saw that coming.
No, you wouldn't have seen that coming. But then, okay, gender difference. Would you agree or would you not agree? You're the one. When we had a female guest, they were better at listening to you than the males. Would you say that or not? I could be
If
talking
you
bollocks.
prorate it, the girls were generally, on average, faster than the boys
Right.
because they learned. They would take it on.
They didn't have the ego to go, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch this.
Watch this. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Like David Williams towards the camera.
Eddie Izzard, that was the weirdest one.
Yeah, I felt bad for that because I made him possibly a bit too quick, too soon.
And he was sick, wasn't he?
Yeah, and we had a spin in the rain, and that was his stomach went. I don't think he was. He did it, and to be fair, he fought through that, and but he was done for the day.
Lionel Richie, Jesus.
Wheel fell off. Trevor Reeve.
But there
wheel
was a
fell
guy,
off.
Lionel Richie, he's been in like bloody deep south segregation times when he's starting out. He's had some tough times when he's starting out as a musician, long before we're like all knocking around. And you're like, he's not going to be bothered by a wheel falling off.
He wasn't.
No,
He was just
he didn't
laughing.
give a fuck, yeah. Because that guy has known hardship.
Interesting. Yeah.
Is my view on these things.
So who's your favourite guest?
You know I can't do that because
Come on.
there's so many. I can't do favourite film. Favourite Stig, definitely the one after you.
Oh,
So, favourite guests? Tom, obviously. And I think what was amazing was the way he was that day compared to the machine that was around him. Him and Cameron Diaz were amazing. Because do you remember it? I do. The fuss that was laid out by the film company, like with the security sweep the fucking Dunsfold on the day before, what they're going to find, but they do it anyway. And then we got this itinerary, which was, Tom will arrive at 12. He will step out of the helicopter at 12:02. He will say hello to Jeremy at 12:04. He will go into his motorhome at 12:05. He will re-emerge at 12:07. He will do the lap until 12:38. And all this shit was like, he will then do the interview with the exec producer from all that shit. And we weren't like pissed off. We were like, well, that clearly is life with Tom Cruise on the road. That's what it's like. And then, as you know, so it's 10 o'clock, 2 hours early, in comes the helicopter, he gets out. And he was like, and I remember him walking towards us, and I went, hang on, you're not supposed to be here till 12:02. And he was like, oh, you got the itinerary, and he was straight away, he went, yeah. He said, look, I woke up and I thought, let's get down there, it's a nice day.
yeah.
So off they go to Battersea Heliport and get down there. And I think you'll remember, he never went in his motorhome other than to change his shirt. He stayed around talking to everybody. He never went into any kind of enclave where nobody could be near him. He never did that. She was the same, Cameron Diaz. And the bit I kind of remember, which was, he did his lap first, and it was like a sunny, hot day, but it rained. Then he did that wet lap. And then it was a sort of hot day where the track dried instantly.
She was quickest.
Cameron Diaz arrives. She wasn't quickest in the end, but she does a dry lap, and she's quicker. But he was watching her go round in the dry, and he said to me, "Can I do my lap again?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm not going to say, "No, you've had your moment." He goes, I know I can go quicker, and I was in the rain, and I was thinking, yeah, I don't want a wet lap for Tom Cruise, because it's always a bit disappointing. I was like, "Mate, you can do another lap, no problem." I went, "But the one problem we've got is behind us," and there's like all the film PR people. I was like, "They've got this itinerary for you. You get into the premiere of Night and Day, you 12:08, 12:32, all that shit." I was like, "If we do another lap, that's another half an hour. That blows that itinerary." And I thought he'd turn around and go, "I'm doing my lap again." He just went, "Could you ask them if we can do it?" And I was like, "Okay." And then I kind of went over. I went, "Tom wants to do his lap again," and he was standing like where Kieran is. And they went, "Yeah," and Tom was going, "Yeah, I want to do it." And then they were like, "Yeah, no problem. Yeah, go. Yeah, you go, Tom." And then when he walked off, they went, "Right, you talk him out of that. You get that killed. He does not do the lap again." And he came wandering back. I think he could see by the body language, the usual stuff. And he went, "Problem." And they were like, "Tom, you can't. We've got to go back to the hotel, change to go to the premiere." And he went, "Well, I'll just change in the car I won't go back to the hotel. I'll just go I've got a spare shirt here." He had a spare shirt. He went, "I'll just use that." So, but all the time his tone was, he went, "Guys, please, can I do it? This is the best fun I've had on a press junket. Can I do it?" And he never went, "I am doing it." And then he did his lap, as you know.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
And what's funny, because these people, he's so human. He stopped with everybody he met. He was really kind to everybody. But we had that Bugatti Supersport.
You took him for a drive in
take
that,
him out, let him have a go in it.
Yeah.
And we ripped it up and down. I said, "We'll try and get you to max it out." So we taught him how to brake, because that thing's got such ridiculous brakes, air brake, all that stuff. So he mastered that, and he's like, "This is so much fun." But he said, I'm going to be late for my premiere. What do you think I should do? I was like, "Well, we've got the track. This car is one of a kind. I think you can turn up a little late. They'll wait for you." He's like, "Yeah, do you think so?" Like, "Yeah."
Yeah. So he's asking you.
Shredded it.
Da 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 da. He's asking you. The guy is like, so if you think of his status, I found him so nice and so like, just, he gave everyone the time. And then he invited us to the film set when he was doing Edge of Tomorrow. And I said, "That's really nice, but I can't see it happening." And he got a bit shirty. He went, "It will happen." Like, I was like, okay. And then he did. He invited my family.
Amazing.
And I remember on set, like, the bloke operating the smoke machine, he's going, "Is everybody good to go?" And there's like the old bloke on the smoke machine going, "All right, Tom, how much smoke do you want, son?" And he's like, and you read these rumours that nobody can make eye contact with him. I said, "Fucking bollocks." And he's like, "Do the smoke machine." The guy does it, and Tom's going, "Right, 2 bursts, let that linger, then 1 more, and then I'm good." Like, very exacting. And this old bloke's going, "All right, son, you're good to go." And you think, no, that he's so at home on a film set, and I think the crews adore him. And whatever that thing about when he bollocked people that was recorded, fucking right, in COVID, when people are like bringing a shoot into jeopardy. I know Wade, who you've had on your podcast, works with him, and they're an amazing team, those two. The respect, the what have you. So that's a long way of saying he was a favourite guest.
I know you need to go, because you've got to go and edit The Farm, haven't you?
Sure I have.
All right.
Series 3 beckons.
I've got more. I'm going to quick fire questions now. I'm going to speed them up. All right.
Okay.
I've got my laptop out. Some words on there. All right, we've done your favourite guest. Who was the least favourite?
I'm not telling you. There was only one though, and I think you'll agree on this. 99% of them were good guests.
They were great.
Like, and given what they had to do, which is go and sit in a shit car, do something out of their comfort zone, I thought, and give us half a day. They were great.
All right, so you're swerving that one. Fair enough. Can I call you Neville?
No.
It's your middle name.
Yes, I know that.
People, I just.
God,
It's there.
it was my godfather, and I think it was just some drunk from Glossop.
It's a strong one.
Yeah.
Do you still have your lucky pants? These are coming from the crew. And what condition are they in? Are you wearing?
I think
any
they're in a
pants?
drawer somewhere. There are actually. I can confess now. The last sort of series, I didn't bother wearing them, but I just told everyone I did because they were non-existent. They were just like the top of the pair of pants. So I didn't bother wearing them, and then look what happened.
Most of us were on the impression that you didn't really wear any pants because there was no belt, but generally evidence suggested that with what was on display, there was no underwear worn.
So you were all looking at my, like,
I'm just
instead of getting
I'm
on
just
with your
saying,
work.
you know,
Yeah. Okay.
it was one of those.
No, I did wear pants. Fuck me.
Okay, another one. This is from one of the directors. What does edit wank mean when you pop that into the script?
Oh, edit wank is when directors go, we'll have the clouds going backwards, and then we'll get a rev counter, and then we'll go a bit of runway, and they do those little kind of stings, which we like them. No one argues that we like them. Everyone, our viewers like them, and I think we're all agreed we took car photography up to a new level, and it was the directors and editors who did that, not me, Jeremy, or anybody else. That was those guys who elevated the whole thing. But edit wank is short term for, and it can be used like productively. I can go, can you drop a bit of edit wank into that section?
Yep.
Not like, oh God, that's edit wank.
Okay.
Can you drop some edit wank in?
Sexy montage-ish.
Yeah, but it's all the little bits that are like 10 frames, 5 frames. Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, good to know.
Use it.
You're
Editors of the future.
You're a perfectionist, aren't you? I mean, that's you spent hours and hours in the edit, so they know you. They probably know you best. How many mobile phones have you launched against the wall during the making of Top Gear, and maybe subsequently Grand Tour?
I think I've only done 2. I never did any on Grand Tour. I think the wall was too far away. I haven't got really good at throw. But I did 2 at Top Gear in that big office we had.
3 actually. You did 3 in the office, and you did 3 in the edit. 6 phones.
Well, fucking Alzheimer's Central for me then.
There you
I
go.
can remember 2. I remember a car. It was a film where the sort of one of them fancy parachutey people, and it was a Porsche Cayenne, and they crashed the Cayenne whilst
off the
filming
hill.
it.
Yeah.
Film wasn't shot, so it was one of those
It
films
was a
where
blue on blue.
I can't remember, but they had to film it from the non-crashed angle, and it's like really compromised because you got a fucking parachute guy coming down. And I got the call, and I like launched the phone out the wall, and I think bits flew over everywhere. I don't think you could do it today.
No.
I don't think you could do it. But 6.
6 phones.
Who is saying that? Or was it a
I can't
consensus
name
amongst
names.
the WhatsApp group?
Oh, this is the collective.
Are you sure they're not all talking about the same one?
They're not all talking about the same one. Apparently, you
Goddamn.
used to throw pens as well. And one of the directors said that you'd throw a pen at the monitor if you didn't like one of the shots, and it would often bounce off the screen and hit him in the nose.
Yeah, it would. But editors don't like my edit suite etiquette. Like I always point at the telly,
And touch the screens.
touch screen, and go, no, move that there, because I can't actually operate any of the buttons.
Yeah.
So I was like, can you do that, move that there? And there's just a streak of like lunch going across the screen, which really fucks them off.
Do you want to take this opportunity, because they'll be watching, do you want to
No.
apologise to them now?
No.
You're unapologetic.
No, I'm lucky. Without me, they'd all be sleeping in doorways in their own piss with a dog on a bit of string.
So fuck them, is you're basically saying.
100%, yeah.
All right, I
It's
tried,
without
boys.
me,
I
they'd
did
be
try.
begging.
I did my
They'd be
best.
shouting at passers-by with a can of special brew.
Exactly.
Without me.
All right, well, that's it. That is my list of sharp questions. Yeah, other than to say thank you, because not just for joining
I
me, but
really
also
enjoyed that, and thank you for
for
taking
my
me.
career, Andy. Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I loved my time working for you. And
It was all our careers,
Yeah.
and we didn't know it. This is the thing. The organicness. You know, we set out to do that, and we ended up doing that. It was incredible. And we'll never ever match it, and that's cool. That's good. We might do, like Jeremy's doing The Farm now, which is fucking brilliant, but we all know that the beast was that first Top Gear that will define it. You know, when you die, that'll be in your obituary number 1, I think.
But it lives on, I think. It's inspired a lot of, I think, seedlings of car content. It's
I get you. I get you. It has, and I hear parents now going, "Oh, my kids have discovered Top Gear, like our Top Gear," and you go, "Yeah, they were good. There were good times," and we all, lightning in a bottle, that all the right people came together. Jim, Rowley, Alex, you, Jeremy, Richard, James, me, Nigel Simkis, Phil Churchwood. We all came together at the right moment, Ben Joyner, to do, in our various ways, this thing. And it was ours. Like I say, we weren't handed a format. We made it.
You made it. And you've got a couple of things coming out, so we'll see you next. There's 2 more grand tours to come out, and then the farm.
There's a grand. When's this going out?
This is coming out in 2 weeks, so.
All right, I think February the 17th, there's Mauritania, so it's our penultimate grand tour. And then our last ever grand tour will be September.
Yeah.
Because we know it's time to call it a day. And that is sad. But we want to end still with an audience going, yeah, you were all right. And everyone is getting old. So to be able to draw your car show TV history to a close on your own terms is rare. And thank fuck we were able to do it after 20 years. But 20 years is enough. And then more farm.
Yeah.
More farm.
Well, you're a master storyteller, so keep capturing the lightning in a bottle. And,
thank you. And I've got a film to do.
Go and make your film.
Which maybe will work. I'll tell you all about that in the next podcast if it works.
Great.
And you're going to help me with it.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Because it involves motor cars. All right.
Andy Woolman, legend. You guys will see him.
Thank you.
On the screens again very soon. Thanks for joining.
Cheers. Bye.